The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void between stars, a massive diplomatic station where representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered to discuss matters of war, peace, and prosperity. Today's assembly was smaller, more exclusive, a gathering of the 5 most powerful military civilizations in the known galaxy. Commander Zexthal of the Krillian Empire stood before the holographic display, his chitinous plates gleaming under the station's artificial light. "Behold the Devastator-class dreadnought," he announced with unmistakable pride. 12 kilometers of pure destruction. Our plasma cannons can vaporize a moon in 3 volleys. The other delegates murmured their appreciation. The hologram showed a vessel that resembled a massive arthropod, bristling with weapons ports and shield generators. It was indeed impressive. Next came Ambassador Threen of the Collective Consciousness, her translucent form shimmering as she projected her own vessel. "The Krillians favor brute force," she said, her voice like wind chimes. "We prefer elegance. Our mindbreaker cruisers may be smaller at 8 kilometers, but they need not destroy. They simply convince enemy crews to surrender through psychic resonance." The Vortak delegate, a being of living metal, scoffed. "Parlor tricks," he rumbled. "The Vortak Worldbreaker needs no such deception. 15 kilometers of self-repairing adaptive armor and singularity weapons. We have cracked planets like eggs." The 4th delegate, High Commander Sareth of the Serpentine Domains, uncoiled slightly as her display activated. "All impressive for those who lack subtlety," she hissed. "Our Shadow-class vessels operate in subspace itself. 10 kilometers of pure stealth technology. You cannot destroy what you cannot see." Finally, Ambassador Kurain of the Celestial Ascendancy spread his luminous wings. "And yet all of you miss the greatest weapon? Speed. Our Starfire interceptors are the fastest ships in the galaxy. 7 kilometers of pure velocity, capable of crossing a solar system in minutes. We strike before you even know we're there." The 5 delegates regarded each other with a mixture of respect and rivalry. They had gathered here not for war, but to establish a mutual defense pact. Together their fleets would be unstoppable. "There is one matter we must address," Zexthal said, his mandibles clicking thoughtfully. "The humans have requested to join this alliance." The chamber fell silent. "The humans?" Threen's form flickered with what might have been amusement. "They've barely left their home system. What could they possibly offer?" "They claim to have a military fleet," Sareth said, her forked tongue tasting the air. "Though intelligence suggests their largest vessels are quaint. 2 kilometers at most." Kurain's feathers ruffled. "Perhaps we should hear them out. It would be diplomatic, and their admission fees would fund our operations handsomely." A consensus was reached. The human representative would be invited to present their fleet. Captain Sarah Chen stood before the 5 delegates 3 days later, her uniform crisp and her expression neutral. She was a small woman by human standards, but she carried herself with quiet confidence. "Honored delegates," she began, "humanity thanks you for this opportunity. We understand our technology may seem modest compared to your achievements." "Modest is generous, Captain," Zexthal interrupted. "Your largest warship is the UN's Valiant, correct? 2.3 kilometers. Hardly worthy of this alliance." Sarah smiled slightly. "The Valiant is indeed our largest ship, Commander. But she's not our battleship." The delegates exchanged glances. "Then what is?" Threen asked. Sarah tapped her datapad, and a new hologram materialized in the center of the chamber. The 5 delegates leaned forward, then recoiled. The vessel that appeared was unlike anything they had seen. It wasn't sleek or elegant. It wasn't bristling with obvious weapons. It was a massive, irregular structure that looked more like a small moon than a ship, if moons had engines. "This is the UEN's Earthbreaker," Sarah said calmly, 87 kilometers in length. Mass equivalent to a small asteroid. She was built from a hollowed-out nickel-iron asteroid over the course of 30 years. "Impossible," Vortak rumbled. "The energy requirements alone are provided by 6 fusion reactors and 2 antimatter cores," Sarah continued. "The Earthbreaker doesn't have weapons in the traditional sense. She has mass drivers that can accelerate tungsten rods to relativistic speeds. At 0.999 the speed of light, even a small projectile carries the kinetic energy of a strategic nuclear weapon." The chamber was utterly silent now, but that's not her primary function, Sarah added. "The Earthbreaker is a mobile fortress. She carries a crew of 50,000, manufacturing facilities, agricultural domes, and can operate independently for decades. Her armor isn't exotic alloys or energy shields. It's hundreds of meters of solid iron and stone. Your plasma cannons, singularity weapons, they'd take hours to bore through. Sarah's eyes narrowed. And the speed? Such a vessel must be impossibly slow. Slower than your ships, yes, Sarah admitted. But we don't need her to be fast. We need her to be inevitable. Once the Earthbreaker is en route to a target, there's no stopping her. She's not a ship. She's a moving fortress, a hammer that can shatter worlds. Corain's wings drooped. Why? Why would you build such a thing? Sarah's expression hardened. Because humans learned a long time ago that the biggest, fastest, or most elegant weapon doesn't always win. Sometimes you need something that can take a hit and keep coming. Something that says we will not be moved. We will not surrender. Come at us with everything you have, we'll still be here. She looked at each delegate in turn. You asked what humanity could offer this alliance. We offer endurance, stubbornness, the willingness to turn an entire asteroid into a weapon because someone told us it couldn't be done. We're not the strongest or the fastest, but we're the ones who looked at the empty space between stars and said, how can we weaponize that? The 5 delegates sat in stunned silence. Finally, Zexthal's mandibles clicked in what might have been respect or fear. The humans, he said slowly, are approved for membership. Sarah nodded once curtly. Humanity accepts. We look forward to a long and peaceful cooperation. As she left the chamber, none of the delegates noticed her small smile, or the fact that she hadn't mentioned the other 7 Earthbreaker-class vessels currently under construction. Some things were better kept as surprises.